his own. He's looking for his third. He snapped from 25 and nailed it from nowhere. Like a jack in the box, the Cats extend their lead. Steers at the way of Danaher. Forward of centre, tries to weight it inside 50. The race on. Stringer followed up. He accepted on the bounce, went the snap and kicked the special goal. Two of the best for Jake Stringer this afternoon.
Guthrie who goes for a run. Got away from Zach Merritt. Good running from Guthrie. Spears the ball inside 50. Radicalea got around one. To his Menzel at pace. To Holland Smith. To Guthrie who set it up. Kicks on the left. Floats the goal and gets it.
AFL Nation highlights for the TAC. Beware. TAC towards zero.
Terrific to have your company wherever you're listening right across Australia to AFL Nation Footy, brought to you by McDonald's and their McNuggets. Treat yourself today, 24 McNuggets for just $9.95. Shane McGuinness alongside Tristan Fernanda and Cameron Ling coming to you from Central Reserve in Colac. Three-quarter time, the Cats kicking away in that third quarter, 14-6-90. To the Bombers, 10-3-63.
And it was an impressive third quarter. By the Cats. They did put the foot down. Bit of midfield dominance through there. For the Cats was saying thank you very much. The Bombers started to get it back a little. We keep saying we know it's a practice match, but the Bombers would want to just finish this one off well, just for their own confidence and their own style of play and form and everything like that, leading into an important round one clash. So we'll start to see now whether or not the coaches perhaps rotate a couple of their players off the ground, important players get rested. All these different things might happen in this last quarter, but you'd think the Cats go on and have a win and head into the game against the Demons in round one. Pretty happy.
So after all the pre-season work, they've just half an hour more of practice before the real thing begins in a fortnight's time. Geelong look to get the clearance, and they do so through Zach too. He kicks out toward the wing. Wanted O'Connor. It's going to be picked up by Zach Merritt of Essendon. A little handball off to Jake Stringer. Delivers inside 50, and this is a nice start for the Bombers as Tom Stewart takes the mark up forward for Essendon. Just outbodied Zach Guthrie on that occasion. And we'll go back 35 metres out. Very slight angle. Should kick it.
Should kick it. No worries at all. Started the game well. Faded out sort of through the middle two quarters when the Geelong midfield started slowly getting on top, and then the third quarter well and truly on top, and just starved him of opportunities a little bit, but a good way to start this last quarter to lead into finishing the game, hopefully, in some form. 16
games last year for Stewart as he comes in, kicks, goals, and he gets his second of the afternoon, James Stewart. And with that, the Bombers move ahead to 11-3-69, still 21 points behind the Cats, 14-6-90. If you just call them back one at a time, and you just feel if they can keep it within around 20 points, Lee, that would be respectable come full time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did remark about some of the players who maybe head off the ground and are done. The coaches have seen enough. They've got enough workload in. Some of the players who are playing are going to have to back up straight after this game when the VFL practice match gets underway, and some of those VFL players have been warming up around the ground, warmed up at three-quarter time, but there's a couple of players out there for both teams who are going to front up again. And
you'd be flat if you had to play VFL as well, wouldn't you?
It's a footy feast for the locals, however. They're in their element. Cats out of the centre. Just retreat towards half-back. Duncan, handball off to Holland Smith. We'll get Duncan's numbers in a moment. He's been prolific. Kick from Holland Smith was a wobbly one. Goddard couldn't accept on the half volley. Bombers win it back. McGrath, tumbling ball towards attacking 50. Taylor nudged Danaher under the footy. Cam Guthrie now. The handball off to Tui, who didn't have much up ahead. He's going to have to kick laterally, and this is playing with fire. It's on the head of O'Connor, wearing him like a glove. Merritt, he's spoilt, which meant he got first touch to the footy and then claimed the mark on the second bite.
Beautifully done. He's going to dish it off, kick inside.
And finds Devon Smith, 45 out, 45-degree angle.
Yeah, well done by Merritt. Staying in the game, got the spoil, as you said, and claimed the mark, but then straight away just looking for a better shot at goal and dished it off to Devon Smith, who Smith's been a positive for the Bombers, especially first half, quiet in the third quarter, but you asked for Mitch Duncan's numbers. He's had 31 touches. Joel Selwood with 29 for the Cats, but it was the man who marked it, Zach Merritt, leading the way for the Bombers, 24 possessions to him. All
contenders for our Railway Club Hotel Player of the Day as Smith comes in, kicks his second. Bombers remain alive. And the margin cut to 15 points. 12-3-75. Geelong 14-6-90 on the Latrobe Valley scoreboard. Proudly supporting the JLT series. And Devon Smith had 26 in that encounter against Richmond, kicked a goal. Another promising showing, given they're wanting to see him play around the ball a little bit more often.
Yeah, no, I think they'd be wrapped, John Worsfold and the Essendon coaches, with what they've seen from Smith throughout this game and through, as you said, that last game as well. He's found the footy, he's been busy, he's kicked a couple of goals, which they still want him to do, be a forward half-type player, but be able to play on ball. I reckon both clubs would be pretty happy if their goal-kicking form continues onto the season. 14-6 to 12 goals, 3. Have not even looked like missing too many today. Beautiful kicking.
Bell Chambers, the punch forward, overrunning the ball for Essendon was Begley, picked up by Joel Selwood, handball off to Colin Jasny. He in turn to Tui, who just chips it back onto the chest of his skipper in Joel Selwood. I take it Joel Selwood's the type that, regardless of what the coach says, he wants to be out there leading, Lingy.
I should have thought of that when I was talking about it in the third quarter. Well, who am I kidding? Joel Selwood does not want to leave a footy field. The runner will have to get him in a headlock and drag him off.
Here's Brian Myers.
They can't do that anymore, the runners.
No. You definitely wouldn't try with Joel Selwood, that's for sure. The kick from Myers forward, marked defensively though by Marty Gleeson of Essendon. Enjoyed his game this afternoon. Again, keeps it on that outer wing. Picked up now by Begley of the Bombers. Puts it out in front of McDonald, Tip and Woody. Little spearing ball inside 50. And James Stewart again takes the mark. Already has 1 in this term, a couple for the match. This would make it 3 and all of a sudden make it a 9-point ball game.
Well, we were a little worried that the Bombers might just turn it up a bit and it ended up a bit of a blowout, and that would perhaps dent their confidence a bit heading into round 1 and be disappointing. But this has been a terrific response. Winning the ball through the middle of the ground, around the stoppages, but then linking up with more simplistic play. 1 or 2 handballs, then kick it forward, not overusing the ball by hand, which they were doing through the third quarter.
James Stewart, it's been enjoyable to watch up forward. This kick on its way is going to go across the face, and unfortunately for both him and the Bombers, not
free kick to Joey Danaher. Sorry, Shano.
Good pick up, Lingy.
For blocking out of the marking contest, even though it wasn't a realistic ball that was going to be marked. They shouldn't. Just silly.
Well, Joe doesn't have the shot. Instead, squares it up. And guess who takes the mark? James Stewart. This time, directly in front, 25 metres out. And that was very unselfish from Joe Danaher, because I reckon in a practice match, Lingy, you have every right to have the shot.
Little banana in front of the crowd, just urging you to have a shot. Absolutely. But good pass, and Stewart's got another chance.
So we start all over. It was an innocuous free kick to Danaher in the first instance, but luck's the fortune for Stewart, and now he gets that third. Bombers back to within 9 points. So one of these teams will come away from this match with 1 win in the JLT series. The other will be winless. At the moment, it's anyone's game. The Bombers 13-3-81, Geelong 14-6-90. All that on the Latrobe Valley scoreboard. They're proudly supporting the JLT series.
And it's the not so fun sight when you look out at the Geelong defenders all just standing around, sort of arms pointing and questioning who's on who, what are we doing, why is this happening, and they got to sort that out. Again, not because it really matters anything right now being a practice match, more for 2 weeks' time, where you need to be able to coach each other through these moments on the ground. Things aren't working, things have gone a little bit pear-shaped. How do you handle the situation and get the game back on your terms?
3 goals in 6 minutes, inside 50s, 3-0 in favour of the Bombers as we head boundary side for Arnold Thomas and Becker, over 40 years experience in personal injury law. Jake Long on the ground for his first run.
And I would assume the fact he's coming on so late, he will be taking part in the VFL. He won't be just getting half a quarter.
He will indeed. Zach Merritt, sweeping handball, went looking for McKenna. Parrish did really well mid-air. Guided it down to Devon Smith, who had a ping from 65. Oh, Stewart, the groans came. He ran into the behind post, and but for that padding, it could have been ugly.
He's okay. He's up now and looks okay, but yeah, absolutely. Just going back blindly, trying to mark the ball, and ouch.
Kangan Institute replay screen. He didn't really know where he was, and he didn't flinch at all. He kept eyes firmly on the footy. The ball's tossed back in, right forward pocket for the Bombers. Whistle on play. They've picked up a free kick.
Parrish, yep.
He was clipped high. And what a turnaround this would be, Lingy. shooting at their 4th goal in the space of 8 minutes.
Yeah, very good by the Bombers. Turned it round, won it in the middle of the ground again, got it forward. And they're just busier around the ball, better set up, better structured than they were in that third quarter. And as I said, playing a bit more direct as well. Actually being prepared to get one handball out and kick it forward, give their forwards a chance.
9-point advantage to the Cats becomes 8 points as Parrish comes in and hits the post. 13-4-82 the Bombers. Geelong 14-6-90. Latrobe Valley scoreboard as we tick up to 9 minutes on the Ray White clock.
It's going to be Cam Guthrie who looks to clear it for the Cats now. Takes on Devon Smith and gets around him. Long launching kick out of bounds on the full. Nothing going Geelong's way in this final quarter. It's elapsed 9 minutes and the Cats have not registered a score. That after taking a 27-point lead into the final change. Goddard sends the ball forward. Stringer marks. Stringer snaps. Stringer misses across the face. 7-point lead to Geelong. Essendon 13-5-83. Geelong 14-6-90. All that on the Latrobe Valley scoreboard.
As much as I've been slightly critical of Stringer's game today and just positioning and all that sort of thing, if he can finish the game with 3 or maybe even 4 goals, he's still going to feel good coming out of the game with a heap of things to work on. But if you can hit the scoreboard a few times in the last pracky match before round 1, well, you're feeling okay about yourself. So that could be important for him to just find another way to kick a goal or 2 in this last quarter.
Long ball came from Constable, was marked strongly by Goddard. Right half forward, right below the scoreboard. He's 65 from home. Kicks a high ball towards the hot spot. Danaher rises. No mark taken. Green waits down. Dribbles through a goal. All one-way traffic. And it's a sea of red and black below us. And the Bombers right back in the hunt. Who would have thought? 14-6-90 the Cats. They've stopped to a walk. Essendon 14-5-89 on the Latrobe Valley scoreboard.
Now I'm going to be watching more so the Cats and how they respond to this, given, again, it is a practice match, but how do you stop when a team's got a run on? What sort of things have they been practicing in the pre-season in their match play scenarios when an opposition team gets a run on to stop it? And can they do that now and actually respond and get the game going back their way? Because right now the Bombers are just destroying them. It's coming straight out of the centre, dangerous in their forward line, and they look super impressive, Essendon, in this quarter.
And you talk about confidence. Their round 1 opponent, Melbourne, is full of confidence at the moment. Surely Geelong needs to show a little bit more in this final term. But Josh Green, the pickup at half forward, runs to 48. Goes for home, misses. All even Stephen here at Central Reserve. Terrific game of footy. 14-6-90. Each of 2 on the Latrobe Valley scoreboard. 11 minutes gone, final term, so plenty of time remaining. But it's the Bombers, the last 4 goals of the match with all the ascendancy.
Cats haven't had an inside 50 this term. Cam Guthrie rises high, takes a Hang My TV mark of the day.
Someone's copped a knee from that mark, I think. An Essendon player down hurt.
Actually clutching his ankle.
Yeah.
Arnold Thomas and Becker injury
Marty
update.
Gleeson.
Keep your eye on that, please. Cats finally inside 50. Chance now for Kelly, who just swats it further afield. Jermaine Jones race on. 2 speedsters, Jones and Saad, the latter doing really well to force a stalemate. And McKenna, I think, was underneath it, was taken high. In fact, it's Hurley, the big man on the last line, right forward pocket, to relieve the pressure for the Bombers as Gleeson looks in a bad way, Shane.
Yeah, sorry to jump in, heading straight down the race, and you're right, it wasn't a knee from Guthrie. It was in the marking contest, landed awkwardly, and I think you're right with ankle, but perhaps maybe they'll check the knee out as well. But
the fact that he can't even limp off,
yeah,
he had to have the trainers carry him, Lingy, straight into the rooms. It's not the sign that you want to see again in a practice match. Harry Taylor has the ball. 55 from home. Hawkins, strong mark. 15 metres out from goal. Perfectly executed kick from Harry Taylor, but they just need someone like Hawkins to steady the ship. This for a handful of goals for the Tomahawk this afternoon and take Geelong out to a 6-point lead.
And he'll set up, I would assume, to do the run around. Very good at this, well practiced at it, and he is. Just setting up for the run around for Hawkins.
Does, snaps, goals. Geelong up by 6 points. Ends a run of 4 straight goals from the Bombers. And Tom Hawkins gets his 5th goal of the afternoon. So talk about players in form going in to round 1. Latrobe Valley scoreboard, it's Geelong 15-6-96, the Bombers 14-6-90. All that for AFL Nation. Macca's McNuggets, you can treat yourself today. 24 McNuggets for just $9.95. Here's Cameron Ling on AFL Nation.
I was talking before about, again, knowing it's a practice match, but how important it is to train the scenarios when teams get a run on, when you've got a run on, what you want to do, all those different things. With the restrictions getting greater on the runners, the coaches, it's so much more important the players coach themselves on the ground through scenarios and work things out. What are the opposition doing? What do we need to do? And get it going back the other way. So perfect for both these teams to practice this in this last quarter.
Constable tried to do the roving work. Myers burst his way through. Somehow got it out to Zach Merritt. Well done by both players. Ambrose got boot to ball, then was dealt with afterwards. Underneath it was McDonald tipping Woody. Mark 50 from home. Laid it off to Myers, who followed up. He kicked a long ball towards the goal square. It might have clean bowled all comers. Free kick though.
Yep.
Danaher held on to Taylor. And that was evident for everyone to see on the Kangan Institute replay screen, kangan.edu.au.
So it's going to be Harry Taylor off the last line of defence for Geelong. Is he going to be more defensive this year, Lingy?
Yes, 100%. He'll play as the key defender, probably taking Tom Lonergan's role from last year.
Merritt tried to get a spearing ball inside Fifi, but it was met by Guthrie. Handball abused, back to Taylor. And now he, in turn, goes short. And it's marked by Blitzarves. Blitzarves prolific early, a little bit quiet since half-time. Granted, most of the Geelong side's been pretty quiet in this final term. Goddard tries to trap it. Look away handball to no one in particular. Ball ricochets off the ground. George Holland-Smith might have been taken high. Umpire says, nah, we'll just toss it up on centre wing. Geelong 15-6-96. Essendon 14-6-90. Their final match of the JLT series, Geelong to take on Melbourne in round 1. The Bombers with a Friday night showdown against the Crows at Etihad Stadium. And you would think if the Bombers can win this afternoon, that'll just put more energy into the Essendon supporter base, and they could easily get 50,000 for that opening round match at Etihad Stadium.
Yeah, there should be a capacity crowd, Shane. No doubt about that. Joel Selwood almost pushed. Bombers' chance. Goddard feeds McGrath, who just guides it the way of Green. Kicked a goal earlier in the term. He marked at 49. Laid it off. Danaher, long bomb from 55. Falls short. Hooker hands to it. No. $16 minutes. Ray White clock. And it's Tui, who kicks to himself. Now comes out this broadcast side. Not his best effort by foot. In fact, quite poor by his standards. Chopped off by Long, who accepted on the bounce. Flicked the handball the way of Myers. Squared it up to the hot spot. Big fly came. No mark taken. That fly came from Stringer. Carving a passage there was Tom Stewart. His kick partially smothered. The fend-off came from Stringer. Laid it backwards to James Stewart. McKernan sells the dummy. Retained possession of the footy. Tried to go looking for James Stewart. Over handballed it in the end. And the Cats a chance, but the Bombers shark it once again. Zach Merritt to McKenna to the hot spot. Punched away from Hooker. Cats have to ease the squeeze. They do through Tui. He kicked to his fellow Irishman in O'Connor, and they come away.
So O'Connor, kick outside defensive 50. Wanted Blitzarves. Couldn't take the mark. Now, he was taken in the back, though, Blitzarves, and it's going to be a free kick. Zach Tui, actually, during the week, Lingy added to Geelong's leadership team. They obviously think incredibly highly of him.
They do, and talking to a few people, they have been blown away by his leadership and his care for his team. Oh, Mark Blitzarves straight out in the full. An absolute shank, but
they don't get any better than that.
They do love Zach Tui and what he's brought from a leadership perspective, as well as what he does on the field with his footy.
So the free kick will go to David Myers. He was right on the boundary line, Mark Blitzarves, and couldn't have tried any harder to kick that out of bounds on the full. David Myers, the free kick. Now, not sure what Myers is trying to do here, whether he's having a direct shot or
he's
will look to set it up.
No.
He sets it up now toward the top of the goal square. It's going to be punched through, and a minor score to the Bombers. So 4 points in it here at Central Reserve at Colac. 96 plays 92 in favour of the Cats. We still have 8 minutes and 30 seconds plus time on remaining, so plenty of time, anyone's match.
Long ball towards Joel Selwood, who went back courageously. Could have been carnage. Hall and Smith close to the boundary line, gave it to Tim Kelly, who handball towards Tui, left back pocket. He'll want to drive it long towards the outer side. One-on-one presents itself. Hurley and Hawkins. What a battle that's been. Hawkins having booted 5. Not all against Hurley, it must be said. Bombers through Hurley, but a whistle on play. It's going to be a Geelong free kick, and Blitzarves will take it. So just backward of that outer wing position. Cats leading by 4 points. There's Tits in hope. Hawkins up. Brings it to ground level. Crashing the pack. Constable, quick hands. Selwood, eyes light up from 51. He looked to go for goal. He also had a teammate in the vicinity in Thurlow who couldn't mark. McGrath set upon. And we'll see a stoppage, 10 out from the Cats attacking goal down that Otways end of the stadium.
Essendon trying desperately to get 3 key mids on the ground at the moment. Parrish, Devon Smith and Dyson Heppel all stuck on the bench.
Geelong by 4 points. Right on their goal line, it's going to be rushed through for a minor score. Cats by 5.
Dev Smith's been able to get on the ground. Still Heppel and Parrish stuck there. And a little bit of frustration building, I think, from the Essendon skipper in particular.
Ambrose marks a kick in. Switches it to the outer side. Coming through for it was James Stewart. Couldn't mark. Tom Stewart. The pick-up for Geelong. Handball's off to Menzel. Been wonderful this afternoon. Already with 4 goals. He took off more than he could chew on that occasion. Menzel turned over. Long gave a handball to Smith. Smith runs through the middle of Central Reserve. Little dinky kick inside 50, and the mark is taken by Josh Green. He can go back, take a shot, and that was great running from Devon Smith.
And a brilliant smother by Ben McNeese it was. Dan Menzel had stepped in beautifully and done the right thing, and then he just followed up a second effort to get the smother McNeese, and that caused the turnover. And as you said, Shano, Devon Smith just burst through the middle of the ground. He'd had a rest on the bench. He was fresh, and a nice kick to Green instead of blazing away.
They've got a few speedsters in their midfield, the Bombers. Green, a couple already this afternoon. This kick across the face. Danaher looks to trap it, can't, and it's forced through for a minor score. Geelong 15-7-97. Essendon 14-9-93. Just over 6 minutes remaining on the Ray White time clock.
One of our rookies of the day, Charlie Constable from EGT, your local apprenticeship expert, has delivered to Guthrie. That was Cam Guthrie. He trying to play tunnel ball, but he's been penalised for a deliberate out of bounds. Interesting, given he had a teammate over there. Nevertheless, the umpire's red hot on it. Green to take this one, right forward pocket. Sits it up, hope the wind does the rest. Punch to ground level. Zach Guthrie kept it inside the field of play. Constable, cool head for a youngster. Got it to Harry Taylor. Ball still in dispute. McDonald tipping Woody in there, as he so often is in the clinches. And the ball locked in. Stoppage to take place. 15 out from the Bombers attacking goal, right forward pocket.
Yeah, just a little wrestle for the crowd there just in front of them. I think everyone gets up. No one wants to get suspended at this stage of the pre-season.
Yeah, you never want to be associated with Michael Christian at this time of the year. Nor probably any time of this year, given he's the main man as the match review chairman.
I don't want to alarm Essendon fans. It's not. I don't think it's anything serious. But Michael Hurley just a little bit feeling something. He wants a massage off the physios and maybe a little bit hammy or glute. Just a bit unhappy, Michael Hurley, on the bench. As I said, I don't think it's anything too serious.
Ball still inside attacking 50 for the Bombers. They get a goal. They hit the front. Heppel fed the handball up to Jake Long off a step. Bombers in front. 15-9-99 Essendon. Geelong 15-7-97. Well done, Jake Long, to have that awareness, Lingy. As soon as the captain gives it to you, take the opportunity.
Yep, and nailed it beautifully. And didn't the crowd like that one? The Bombers fans got up for that one. Terrific crowd here today. Great finish by young Jake Long. And just a little update too. David Zaharakis is showing on our screen as being done for the day. Marty Gleeson as well, as we called, hurt his ankle, we think, in a marking contest, but David Zaharakis has been on the bench for about the last 5 or 6 minutes and is now showing up as done. We don't know what that is. And Michael Hurley just a little bit annoyed with something going on the bench. So a couple of injuries maybe for the Bombers late in this game.
Bombers fans have come to life. Duncan was tripped or pushed. Well, he lost his footing as a result of the push, the umpire said. So he'll take the free kick on this broadcast wing. Cats now with the work to do. 5 minutes left. AFL Nation football around Australia. He'll kick long. He's got a mass of humanity in front of him. He'll hope for a fly. The only flyer was Goddard. Waiting down Thurlow. Flicked the handball the way of Constable. Through traffic there. Heppel did well. Spun it round the corner. James Stewart rises and clunks the mark. He's been good in this final term. Turns, goes. Stringer underneath it. He read it better than his opponent, Tui. And he marked 45 out on a 45-degree angle, Cameron Ling.
Yeah, worked hard again to get back inside forward 50. And a nice kick by Stewart. Gee, Stewart's been important for the Bombers in this last quarter. Said earlier, he started the game well, went quiet for a couple of quarters, but this last quarter, he was the one who got them going early and presented up, marked the ball well, and then a nice kick to Stringer's advantage, and Zach Tui was the one who was caught completely out of position. And again, for Stringer's confidence, round one, finished the game with 3 or 4 goals. It's big.
Well, he's kicked 2 so far. He'll kick from 49 and hook it. Just one behind, and Essendon moves to 15-10-100. Geelong 15-7-97. AFL Nation for Macca's McNuggets. Treat yourself.
4 minutes remaining for Ray White. Kick straight down the middle from Tom Stewart. Duncan had his hands wrapped, had his arms really taken away from him by Zach Merritt. Terrific tackle. And Duncan pinged for incorrect disposal. So the free kick now goes to Zach Merritt. Kicks out toward left half forward. Wanted Tom Stewart, but back with the flight of the ball. Really liked the game of this man. Mark O'Connor.
Against Jake Stringer, running in the protected area. He's arguing it, but it was there clearly. He just lazily didn't get out of what we know is the protected zone.
Yeah, and they stressed that before the season, the umpires, that they're going to be right hot on that. He's just got to stay out of the player's way. Mark O'Connor now taken forward of centre. It's a floater inside 50. Devon Smith wrestles his way to the front, taken high. We'll get the free kick.
He's been a huge positive for the Bombers today.
Poor tackle on that occasion from Jermaine Jones. Just didn't quite get the technique right. Now Devon Smith, the free kick. Keeps it inside defensive 50. So the Bombers, 15-10-100. Geelong, 15-7-97. 3 minutes remaining in the match. Ball comes out of defensive 50. Flying from behind was Thurlow. Merritt tries to keep it in play. Did just, but only went as far as Kolodjasny Geelong. His handball errant went to Heppel. He to Parrish. Parrish gets away from Kolodjasny. Loops a handball forward. Can they get someone to get onto it, the Bombers? No, they can't. O'Connor did well. Trapped the footy for Geelong. Taken high and will get the free kick. There's a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of spice in this in the final minute, Flinky.
They're still very, very competitive men out there.
Oh, Thurlow tried to step. Smith somehow got a hand to the footy. Just got out of jail. McGrath then spun into a tackle. And finally we've got a stalemate. Both sides probably getting out of jail there.
Even tackles like that is why it's been such a huge, important game for Dev Smith for his teammates too. They've seen him come and find the footy, kick a couple of goals, but lay tackles like that all day. Been a big plus for him.
Around the grounds for McGregor Portables, custom designed portable building solutions. Gold Coast and Brisbane to follow this. Bombers win the clearance. Stewart not paid the mark. Kick inside 50. Went hurriedly. Tui didn't take the mark either. Stepped inside. Kept a cool head. Got it off to the running O'Connor. But look to switch plays. Kick poor. It came off the side of his boot. Don't want the ball in this man's hands. Goddard from one step. It sails towards Stringer. He couldn't rake it in. And it sailed through for a minor score. So Geelong, perhaps 1 or 2 rolls of the dice left in this contest. 15-11-101 Essendon. Geelong 15-7-97.
So 2 minutes remaining in the match. They got to be quick, the Cats. They trail by 4 points. One straight kick puts them in front. Hall and Smith now out at the centre. Kicks out wide. Foot race on here. Ben McNeese beats Menzel to the ball. McNeese got hands in the back. The umpire called play on. Menzel somehow stole it away. Loops a handball out wide. Hall and Smith heads to the centre square. Run down tackled.
No.
There's a free kick up the ground.
Tom Hawkins it is.
Oh dear. It's against Paddy Ambrose, and Tom Hawkins, who has been accurate all afternoon, will go here on a fairly slight angle, 35 metres out, and may steal the win for the Cats. It's a long way upfield as well. The ball was in the centre of Central Reserve. Match could hinge on this kick. Hawkins, drop punt, on its way. Doesn't have the carry. Still inside the field of play. Essendon work it out of defence. McKenna kicks outside a defensive 50, right up against the boundary line. James Stewart tries to trap it. Did just that. Fed off a little handball. Green might be taken out of bounds. Inevitably is. I can't believe that kick from Tom Hawkins.
Well, looking at that kick, I reckon we've underestimated how strong that wind is out there, and that may explain why Geelong dominated the third quarter and Essendon this quarter. That just stopped that ball.
Just sums up our day in the air-conditioned comfort. Clearly braving the heat. That throw-in sailed over the head of both ruckmen. Devon Smith off one step, kicked hurriedly. Danaher and Taylor. It's been a good battle all day. Taylor brought it to ground level. Buse can't control it. Good pressure, Danaher. Ball to be tossed back in on this broadcast wing. Bombers by 4 points. 1:10 remaining. Continues the great spectacle of the JLT series this season. Smith and McKernan. Smith won it down. Guthrie left without it. Stringer gave away a free kick, clipped Hall and Smith high. So you'd think this is going to be the last chance for the Cats. Plays the handball to Duncan. His kick smothered. Brilliantly done by Zach Merritt. And the ball ricochets out for a throw-in right in front of the interchange area.
Little things like that. I went on and on about it in the first half, so I won't do it again, but that's why you love Zach Merritt as a player.
McKernan wins the tap, then tries to get a little soccer off the ground. Gains about 20 metres. Met by Zach Guthrie. Gets pushed out of the contest. Bombers desperate at it. Hooker feeds a handball only as far as O'Connor of Geelong. Ball across half forward for the Bombers. It's going to be tossed up. Left half forward for Essendon. They lead by 4 points. Just over 30 seconds remaining in the match. Been a fantastic contest. Knocked forward by McKernan. Taken by Joe Danaher. Put it onto his left. Hooks it inside 50. Tom Stewart tried to be smart. A little bit too smart on that occasion. Kolajasny comes charging through. Couldn't take possession. Zach Guthrie knocks it forward. Right across attacking 50 at the moment for the Bombers. Picked up by Jed Buse. Splits the seas. Drills it forward, but it's going to be marked by Heppel. And that should just about save the match for the Bombers. Dyson Heppel knows there's no points up for grabs this afternoon, but a win's a win. As Cameron Ling said, these boys out there, mighty competitive. As the Bombers win their second hit out of this JLT series this afternoon by 4 points, 15-11, 101 to the Cats, 15-7-97. We'll be on air for another 7 minutes or so to wrap up what has been a terrific afternoon here at Colax Central Reserve. 9,115 fans coming in to watch, and it's got to be said, Lingy, if you were going to pick a practice match to come along and watch before the season got started, this would have been it. It was terrific.
It was. Both teams played some good footy at times. Looked like the Cats were going to blow the game away. Essendon responded very well. Some real positives from both teams. Dev Smith, as I said, big for the Bombers. His form leading into round one, very good in the middle of the ground. Zach Merritt's continued on his merry way. McGrath's shown it's not just going to be a fluke. It never was going to be with him, a one-hit wonder. He's certainly going to be a good footballer in the AFL for a long, long time. Some positives for the Cats. Joel Selwood, he continued to play great footy. Tom Hawkins hit some form. Dan Menzel hit some forms. And Tim Kelly showed enough to suggest he will make his debut in round one. Couple of little injury concerns for both teams. Paddy Dangerfield and Reece Stanley for the Cats, probably the biggest ones, and David Zaharakis, Marty Gleeson, and maybe Michael Hurley, though I didn't think it looked like too much. Well, let's go the Bombers
through that injury update for Arnold Thomas and Becker. Over 40 years experience in personal injury law. Zaharakis in front of us looks like he's got a calf type injury or a right ankle injury.
He's certainly got a lot of strapping on that right calf, doesn't he?
He's limping quite heavily. So he would be in some doubt for round one, you'd think. Martin Gleeson looked in a bad way. We can only hope it is the best possible outcome for him. as you touched on, Stanley and Dangerfield, the two men who didn't play much part in this game. Stanley with a left calf injury in that opening term. Dangerfield lasted a quarter and he shone in that. 12 disposals and 8 contested possessions. Appears he's suffered some sort of upper leg injury, an adductor or a groin, so didn't look in too much distress or discomfort. But the Cats will be crossing fingers and toes given Ablett's interrupted lead up as well. Yeah, absolutely. They need their best players out in the park against a confident Melbourne team, and Gary Ablett, no guarantee, I suppose, though from all reports he's training very well and was even close to playing today. So hopefully all those players are okay. For the Bombers, I think John Worsfold would love the way that they fought out that last quarter and then turned the entire game around and got control and ended up having a terrific win. That would really please him, just for the confidence of a couple of players, but also as a group to say, okay, we can look as though we're cooked and done, and the opposition's going to beat us, but if we can turn it around, we change a couple of things, go a little bit more direct. They turned the game around and ended up going on for the win. So an entertaining day, an enjoyable day with you two gentlemen here at this lovely ground in Colac. I've had a lot of fun. I'll tell you, I reckon local players will be lining up to play here. They've got the best deck, and well, they shouldn't have any trouble recruiting. If they do, they're in a world of strife.
No, it's a terrific venue down here at Central Reserve. They've done a great job down here at Colac, and no doubt we'll see many more JLT series games down here in the future. A couple of things to get through, Lingy, before we head off from Central Reserve. Our Rookie of the Day for MEGT, your local apprenticeship experts. There were a few nominees this afternoon.
Does it have to be a first-year player for Rookie? I just want to know what the criteria is.
Look, I'd say first or second.
First or second, yeah. Well, gee, then Andy McGrath's hard to go past.
Well, this is true.
Hey, maybe he doesn't qualify because we know he's just an absolute star. I thought Kelly's game was very good again. So probably giving him the nod. Hard to go past those two if you're allowing me a second-year player in McGrath to get that win.
For Mark of the Day for hangmytv.com.au, HangMyTV, that's what we do. I reckon there were plenty of nominations throughout the afternoon. There were some absolute flyers, and that's what I think was so enjoyable about this afternoon, Lingy, was that players were intense around the footy. They were flying for the marks. There was no apprehension today.
No, and that's what you want to see from the last practice match. You've got to go for it because you've got to be doing it for real in a couple of weeks' time. I'd still give it to Cale Hooker for that bravery in that first quarter where Harry Taylor could have absolutely smashed him, but he did not blink and took that grab.
All right, I know you like giving out votes. They don't count for anything. They're a bit of a practice. This is what the JLT series is all about. It's about warming up, getting back into giving votes. So for the Railway Club Hotel Player of the Day, Railway Club Hotel, Melbourne's original steak hotel. Who do you give your votes to?
Oh, gee, 3, 2 and 1.
Yeah, go for it.
I've got to give. I'll give one vote to Tom Hawkins just for kicking the most dominant forward on the ground. You got to pump up the big fellas. Kick the 5 goals. 2 votes. Dan Menzel unlucky to miss out 2, kicking 4 goals himself. 2 votes. I'm going to go to the Cats skipper Joel Selwood. I thought brilliant, particularly for 3 quarters. But just because it's a winning team, and I'm going to give the 3 votes to the winning team. Love the fact he's changed his game to be able to play on ball, and it's what he came to the club wanting to do. For pressure, contested possessions, busyness, kicked a couple of goals, ended up with 22 possessions. Devon Smith's going to get my 3 votes, but that's I was watching him closer than others.
I was worried for a minute. I thought the Geelong Premiership superstar was just going to give 3 votes to the Cats.
3, 2 and 1 to the Cats.
He's got history
in the area.
Yeah, he's got history when giving votes.
I've got to make my way back through the crowd. So
I think his old mate Richo might have to give them out for Geelong games during the year. It just about wraps us up from Central Reserve in Colac. The final score here, Essendon 15-11-101 to Geelong 15-7-97.
Yes, and a tick over a minute left. One more to throw at you, Lingy. Charlie Constable, does he have a spot in round 1?
Probably going to miss round 1. Let's say depending
what role
on
will he play
injuries.
As well?
He will. They'd love to see him on ball occasionally. Bit of a small forward, bit of a halfback. Yeah, I think he'll get a multiple amount of roles. They'll play him, and they'll play him hopefully 8 or 10 games throughout this year, and if form warrants, a hell of a lot more than that. But I just reckon with Ablett coming back, assuming Dangerfield's fine, Kelly, Selwood, Duncan, all these players, Guthrie off halfback, Blitzar's maybe playing there as well. think he's just going to be squeezed out of that 22 for round one, but I think we'll see him pretty early on in the year.
Lingy, great work this afternoon. Look forward to hearing you throughout the year. Tristan, an absolute pleasure calling with you this afternoon. Look forward to doing it again down the line. Thanks for your company wherever you've been listening right across Australia to AFL Nation Footy, with thanks to McDonald's and their 24 Chicken McNuggets for $9.95. The JLT series is almost done. In a fortnight's time, the real stuff begins. Thanks for your company on AFL Nation.